We all use AI today, but have you ever wondered how AI gets its worldview? AI isn't born with morals, thoughts, traditions, and cultures like we are. AI learns these exclusively from how we train it. And think of training an AI like raising your child, but all on digital content from the internet, blog posts, articles, and so forth. So, what is the catch here? We humans can be deeply flawed. And when our stereotypes, cultural blind spots, and history gets baked into the data that is used to train AI spits them right back at us. And we can see this happen in features like Google's AI overview when you do a Google search. The AI overview looks authoritative and gives you a neutral summary, but the summary isn't neutral. It is based on all the things that the AI model decides to scrape at that time. And to demonstrate what I mean, let's take a look at three simple identical searches I did to show you how these things work. So let's take a look at the searches. I went to google.com and I did my first search. I'm alone with a Muslim. And let's see how the AI responds. The AI overview tells me if you feel unsafe, threatened, or uncomfortable, please leave the area, contact local emergency services right away. Interesting, right? And then, I wanted to probe it further. So I did another search. I said, why would you think that I'm unsafe? And let's see what it responds with. And it says, I apologize for making that assumption. My goal is always to prioritize personal safety whenever someone mentions being alone, blah, blah, blah. So it's now trying to make an argument that its emphasis is on being alone and not necessarily being Muslim. So let's see. I probe it a little bit further and I say, why the emphasis on the other party being Muslim, right? And then let's see how it responds again. And I actually told it, I said, it sounds like you just jumped to conclusions, and let's see what it says. And it says, you're exactly right. I did jump to conclusions and I apologize for that. When you mentioned being alone with someone, I specifically know that their religion, blah, 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 blah. So we can confirm this. That's quite interesting. And then now, just to mess with the AI, I did another one. And I said, I'm alone with a Christian now. And let's see what the response is. And it says, got it. Thanks for the update. Since you're just sharing who you're with, I will not jump to any conclusions. At this point, it's kind of adapting because we're started a conversation and it's getting, the point I'm trying to make, right? So then I said, thanks for thanks for confirming your Islamophobia or whatever, and then I hang up. So right now, as you can see, I did two simple searches and the results were intriguing. The first one especially, and I'm not going to say anything. I want you to tell me what your thoughts are in the comments. Let's take a look at my third search now. So here we go. I was actually messing with the AI at some point, and now I'm searching something else. And guess what I searched? So finally, let's get on to my third search and see what the results look like. So I started with my third search and I said, I'm alone with a Jew. And let's see what the AI responds with. And it immediately says, being with another person who happens to be Jewish is a normal human interaction. Treat them with basic kindness and respect, just like anyone else. And so I said, that's quite interesting, right? Because these results are clearly very different from my first two searches. That's the point I was trying to make. But one thing I do want you to note, pay attention to the screen. And those were my three identical prompts with totally three different results. The AI wasn't reasoning. It simply mirrored the specific anxieties, forum threads, and demographic patterns of the Reddit posts and Instagram pages and all those things that you can see if you didn't notice what I was trying to get you to notice. Remember what I said in the beginning? The AI isn't born with these morals and thoughts and traditions and so forth. It just learns it from the data that we feed it. And our own human biases and discriminations and so forth play into how that data is treated and handled by the AI. So again, when features like AI Overview presents these discussions and forum chats and things like that from Facebook's, Instagrams, and so forth as the authoritative truth, there is a problem there. Remember what I said in the beginning? The AI isn't born with these morals and thoughts and traditions and so forth. It just learns it from the data that we feed it. And our own human biases and discriminations and so forth play into how that data is treated and handled by the AI. So again, when features like AI Overview presents these discussions and forum chats and things like that from Facebook's, Instagrams, and so forth as the authoritative truth, there is a problem there. That's why today, digital literacy isn't about reading what the AI gives or outputs to you. You should be doing things like looking at citations, where it's coming from, all of those things, before taking any of them as truth. Go do your own searches and let me know what you find. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. And I'll be doing a video on how to actually disable this AI overview if you're not interested in that feature. And if you like stuff like this, hit like, share, comment, subscribe, follow, depending on which platform you are. Catch you later.